First of all, it was underwater, underhand, and damned un-English. That's what they said in Parliament about it. So that's a pretty good indication of what the public thought. Underhand, because you were hitting below the belt. You know, you were coming, you were supposed in those days to declare war, sail your fleets together, open fire, and you'd pound each other to bits, but it wasn't that suddenly. And suddenly these German U-boats came along and started sinking things. And that was first evidence merely a month after World War I broke out in 1914 by the German U-9, a pathetic little submarine really, driven by a paraffin engine, who came out of harbour and found 3 British cruisers, the Aboukir, the Cressy, and the Home, patrolling in stately fashion, perfect station keeping, of course, and looking very smart. There's one little German U-boat. He sank those 3 British cruisers with a greater loss of life than that suffered by Admiral Lord Nelson's entire fleet at the Battle of Trafalgar a century before. But the plain fact is it brought to the Admiralty's mind for the first thing that the submarine was a real threat. No longer were they our waters, or your waters, or German waters. They were nobody's particular waters so long as a submarine might be underneath those waters.
During the course of 2 world wars, submarines turned ocean into no man's land. Nowhere was their impact more evident than in the Pacific War. American submariners, only 2% of the U.S. Navy's total forces, sank 1/2 of Japan's merchant shipping fleet and 1/3 of the Imperial Navy's warships. But for their efforts, the submariners paid a heavy price.
Well, after you made an attack, every time they would come down the torpedo wakes and you get depth charge. And a depth charge is a very unpleasant experience. So then you would surface and make another end round. There was never any hesitancy at all on going in again, and the crew was all for it, knowing they're going to get depth charge. But it's the old business of well, General MacArthur said, duty, honor before, I don't know what it was, but anyway, you do your duty in spite of the fact, and anybody who didn't get scared in a depth charge attack was a damn fool. A lot of people kept a diary. I didn't keep a diary, and I didn't take any pictures because I really didn't expect to survive the war. I mean, we knew that 1 out of 5 patrols, people were lost. I mean, that was your life expectancy. When you get after 5 patrols, well, you figure your number's about ready to come up, you know.
Anti-submarine forces took full advantage of the submarine's vulnerability. Submarines, after all, were merely surface ships that could submerge for only a few hours. Their underwater speed was little more than a crawl. As a result, the submarine navy lost a higher percentage of its men than any other branch of service. By war's end, naval tacticians knew that submarine performance had to be improved. Instead, it was revolutionized.